Hello everyone and welcome to our Fun Fit and Fabulous team call. It's Thursday the 9th of January. I always have to check my phone. And today the lovely Charlie is going to be sharing some stuff about storytelling and sharing your journey on social media. So we're going to jump straight into the call. If anyone has questions at any point, please make sure you add them to the chat box and I'll make sure that I look at them at the end. But a couple of things before we get going and I pass over to Charlie in regards to announcements. So the first of those is that Summit tickets are currently on a discount. So if you are thinking about going, then I would highly recommend going and taking advantage of the discount this month. They just get more expensive as we get closer to the date, so that's worth to consider. And if you are a new coach and you hit Success Club for your first 3 months, you get a free ticket to Summit. So if you then pay for it, you will get it refunded. So that's announcement one. There is a sale on. The second announcement is it's Super Saturday or Super Weekend this weekend, so try and get yourself to an event. I'm actually going to see if I can find out all the future dates and I can share them with you ladies, because like somehow this date passed me by and I've double booked myself and I've got my parents down, so I will see if I can find the future dates. Sometimes they're a little bit different in the States than they are in the UK because of how bank holidays and stuff fall, but I will see if I can get those for you. The other thing is Team Cup. So Team Cup is in February and there is specific rules. I will share the FAQ and a little bit more about it, but it's a great opportunity for you to really push your business forward. And there's a really lovely video actually, I think in the UK builders page. So Marcy, you won't have access to this, but I'll see if I can work out how I can share it into our page about the benefits of Team Cup and all the things that it can do and it can bring. I know there's loads of stuff in Dynasty as well. So definitely get yourself onto a Team Cup for February if you are ready to really take your business to the next level. So those are my announcements. I'm going to pass over to Charlie and I will stick myself on mute. And yeah, if you have any questions, be sure to type them in the chat or unmute yourself and chat away. Over to you, Charlie, and you should just be able to share your screen at any time. All right.
Ladies, you're all right. So yeah, we're going to tonight thinking about sharing our stories on whatever social media platform that you're going on and just how to generally connect with your tribe, because I think the biggest thing is thinking about starting with you, because generally a lot of us will think, what's different about me? What I do the normal thing, special about my life. What do people want to see? My life is boring.
You're cutting out a lot, my love. You've frozen. She moving for you, ladies?
No,
I can't see her moving. I didn't know if it was my internet.
No, nothing. I can't even see her now either.
Oh, can't you?
No, her screen is black on my multi-screen.
Oh, how weird.
How do you get the multi-screen? I want to see everyone.
Can you not swipe across the bottom of your phone, Marcy? You're on your phone.
Oh, thank you. I've only ever.
You're welcome, babe. Yeah, see, Charlotte's left the meeting, it says at the top.
You guys are beautiful.
I'm ready for bed. I don't know about beautiful.
Like, I only ever see Hannah. I can't see anything else.
You're bored of looking at my face, Marcy.
I love that shining face, but I'm like, I get these awesome pictures I never get. I can never see anyone.
Oh, well, there you go. Now you learn something new every day. See?
Freaking do. But yes, where Charlotte should be is completely black on my end too.
Yeah, no, she's left the meeting. It just said
maybe she's going to try and go somewhere that she can get better signal.
Bitches, I'm done with you.
Yeah, I don't want to share my story. Bye, ladies.
Forget it. I'm done with this.
I'm off. Oh, bless her. That's so good.
Well, do you like my new sunglasses?
Oh, I do. I love how you're still in sunglasses and it's January.
They were a late Christmas present to myself. Since I don't get Christmas presents, I treated myself last week.
Good for you.
Aww.
I'm like, no one has to buy me stuff. I can buy my own stuff, damn it.
Yeah, I did the same. I bought myself a couple of cardigans and I got that really nice scarf and I bought myself a pair of boots, which are suede, and it's been pissing it down with rain today. And they're absolutely, like, I haven't sprayed them yet and I think they're going to be ruined.
You should always spray your shoes before you wear them, Hannah.
I know. I normally do. I did with my Uggs. I didn't with these boots. Anyway, my mum said just coat the whole lot in water.
Oh.
Then they'll look the same at least.
Well, yeah, that's it. I'm hoping it will just buff out.
I don't have that problem here. Uggs and they last.
Oh, hi, Shah.
Ah, she's back.
Oh, you're back.
Hey.
Every time I start talking, my computer does this on me. Every time.
Don't know.
Oh, it's cool. Well, I tell you what, just start again and I'll mute everyone for you.
You didn't cut out at all. The whole time you're talking, Hannah, you don't cut out. I can hear you, and then it's, yeah.
Don't
I'll
worry.
try.
It's fine. These things happen. Off you go. It's only us.
Right, here we go. Let's try again. So basically kind of thinking about sharing your story starts with you. And it, a lot of us think, what is it that people want to know about my story? And generally a lot of us, the first place our mind goes to might be, actually, you know what, my day-to-day is boring. What do people want to see about my day-to-day? Everything I do day-to-day is the same. Weekends differ a little bit, but then even they get the same. But actually, that is what people want to connect with, because actually everyone else's life pretty much is just as boring as ours. And we just see the highlights on people's reels and feeds and stories and stuff like that. So what you need to remember is actually all those bits that you see as boring is what makes you real and what makes you authentic and makes you reachable to people, because you're not reachable if you're doing all these things, and you want to be able to connect with the people that are within your reach and connect with what you're doing day to day. Otherwise you're not going to build your tribe. So how do you start doing that? So the first thing is I've just put my examples on this, so I will share it with everybody, but it's just a brief example of my things. Obviously yours will be different, but start thinking about, first of all, before going out and connecting with people, I want you to start thinking, answer these different questions. So what are your passions? What are your interests? And that's the things that you're going to start sharing within your stories, within your posts, and and within your conversations with people as well. And then start thinking about, what are your struggles and what are your fears? Because actually that's who you're then going to relate to, because people will connect with you by thinking, yeah, actually I get that too, and that's something that I struggle with, and that's something that they'll want to read, something they'll want to see, and it helps to kind of normalize that with people. So for me, I was saying about things about sometimes feeling quite anxious, struggling with time to fit things in around the new school run, and just like, how do I manage all of that? Just like thinking about, actually one of my struggles is fitting in easy food that does for the whole family, but also fits in with what is good, what fits for my nutrition. And then kind of that feeling of like feeling bad in your own skin. So what is it that really dig deep? What are your struggles and what are your fears? And then start thinking, what skills do you have? So that could be within your mum, within your mum life, within any working life, that's, just within your family, within your friends and stuff like that, and start sharing it all. And then start to think about, what are your hopes and your goals? And and I think, like we've been talking about, kind of having that vision, nothing limiting or anything like that at all. What is it that you want from life? So when you start to think of that, you will start to, and showing that within your social media, you will then start connecting with your tribe, and that will be with challengers and coaches and everything. So really start, first of all, it's about nailing down what is it with you, that makes you you basically, and share that as openly as you can. And then the next thing to do is like turn that bit of paper over, or whatever, how you do it. I did it one side and then turned it over for the other. Start thinking about who is it that you actually want to speak to, because then this is the next thread of what you're sharing in your posts and your stories. So break it into two as well. Start thinking about who is it that you wanted to speak to in regards to challenges, and who is it that you want to speak to in regards to coaches. So what are their characteristics? What is it that, you know, what are you looking for? So for me, you know, in a challenger, it's about possible things like, what age are you looking to connect for? Because I don't know, like especially thinking about Helen, she quite often will put about being over 40 and being in her best, you know, in the best place possible. You know, Hannah, for you at the moment, being pregnant and, you know, going through all of that. What is your job? Are you a stay-at-home mum? Do you have, you know, are you like a full-time coach? Do you have other jobs on top of it? And what would be, you know, what type of interests? So you will find lots of crossovers from what your story is to what the challenges are, but that's what you're aiming for, and that's who you're then speaking to. And then again, with coaches, really start thinking, if you want to be building a team, what would you want to be looking for in a coach? And also, if that's it's really key that if you've got certain characteristics that you would like from a coach on your team, that you start showing up and living by those characteristics as well. Because actually, if you're not living by those characteristics and showing those characteristics, you're not going to connect with the coaches that you would like on your team, and then it won't get out there. So start thinking about that. And then once you start to know who you're talking to, you can then start to add that value in your stories and in your posts, and start kind of actually as if you're speaking to them, but it's from your own perspective. Am I going too fast, guys? Okay, so the most important bit then is thinking about how do you build your story. And there's quite a lot out there that you guys can access around kind of, you know, there's loads of videos out there around how to tell your story. There's lots of different team calls, and there's also, I can't remember the book, but there's the Build Your Story brand, telling stories that stick. So there's lots out there. But I think what I've started to kind of realise, one of the biggest things around when you're talking on your stories, showing things in your posts, is the biggest bit is starting to think about your feeling and connecting the stories and the posts that you're doing with a feeling. So I'll bring that into this. But what you want to be doing is showing people that you were in the same place as what they were when you started this journey, and at different parts of your journey. So that is your island A. So where were you when you first started this journey? When you had difficulties, when you still have difficulties, where were you? What was going on? How did you feel? What did you think was the struggle? And also just like thinking about, what did you fear at that time if you didn't change things? And then you want to be thinking about, where did you want to get to? So what was it that you wanted? How did you want life to be different? And how did you want to feel different? And then when you start thinking about that, you can start thinking about, actually, what were my struggles at that time? What was stopping me from getting where I was to where I wanted to be? So what were the challenges? What were the hurdles? And what was it that I wanted to, that I needed to get to where I was, and what was preventing me? And that's where people are then going to kind of go, God, actually, heck, I felt like that, and I really wanted to change that. So for example, I know feeling kind of, when I really was stuck, I was like, right, I'm a mum of two, I have no childcare, I can't get to the gym, I'm just stuck, and I feel rubbish in my own skin, and I want to feel better in myself, I want to be exercising again, I want to feel a bit more like me, but how do I do that? My little one won't sit in the pram to go for a run anymore, I've got the two of them, I just can't do that, I can't get to there's no crash at the gym, I don't want, I struggle in the evenings with my little ones because they're still breastfeeding and stuff like that. how do I get there from there? And then actually it was about thinking, you then want to tell people kind of like what you found to navigate yourself through those storms. So for example, you know, for me, it was starting to kind of look into ideas around what can I do when I can't get out? And then realizing that I could find, you know, I found home fitness and I was like, oh, actually, blooming great, you know, this is something I could do. But actually, again, I'm worried about how to do it, but it was about just jumping on board, trying it and changing things as the seasons go. But when you start to, you know, make sure that when you're doing that, you're never talking to people, you know, you're not talking about Beachbody specific, you know, you're not mentioning Beachbody or the products or things like that. It's all the curiosity marketing of, you know, that I found these amazing programs that we can do at home in this community, or whether it's a product, you know, like I found this great drink and it gives me like 4 hours of energy, you know, because you want people to be coming to you. You want people to be intrigued about what it is that you're talking about. And that's what will help to generate those discussions with people, because otherwise they can just go off and find it by themselves. They'll be like, oh, great, she's talked about this, I'll go Google that. So you want it to be able to initiate the conversations and come in that way. So always just make sure when you're writing your post, thinking about, is this connecting to the people that I wanted to? So does this connect with my challenger? Does it connect with the possible fears that they had, their hopes, their dreams? Does it connect with their struggles? Or does it connect with their interests? Is this something that they will want to, you know, they'll want to hear? So even if that isn't about kind of trying to invite them to the groups or invite them to be a coach, just general like mum life or day-to-day life or kind of the mindset stuff, is it something that they would get value from and want to hear? So I don't know, I know, for example, you know, Kim, we were talking about kind of Keisha Fitzgerald's podcasts and stuff, and that actually some of that stuff that like really resonated with you is something that you can like actually really write a post on, because if it resonated with you, it's going to resonate with your ideal customers. So if you can take that and kind of make it your own and relate it to your life and how it helps you. So always come back to who you think that you're speaking to. So when I was listening, if we come back to kind of thinking about what the recommendations are, there are recommendations that actually kind of, if you think about your posts, your top 9 posts are generally as far as people scroll. They may go back a bit further, but they don't necessarily read. So within that top 9 posts, you want to try and start getting a real mix of just your general life posts that are talking to challengers, posts that are talking to coaches if you want to build a team as well. And within that, you guys have already got your why, and it's thinking about, you do want to be spreading your why out consistently across your feed and your stories as well, because people won't skim further, and that's going to really touch base with people. And also every 9 tiles you need to be thinking about kind of, as well as mixing it up with general life, thinking about adding value to people. It's not, if we just constantly kind of talk about, you know, Beachbody, the workouts, the coaching experience, people don't start to build that trust in you. And that's through just seeing our, you know, what we think is our boring showing our lives, and then adding some value is what is going to make people build that trust in you and kind of think, actually, yeah, I could do this. I could join them. And actually, do you know what, actually, she's been really helpful. And, you know, and they start to build that trust. And also just wherever you can, start to be as vulnerable as you let yourself can be, because actually, that vulnerability is again where we tap into our fears and we tap into our struggles, and it will really, really resonate with people. You know, like I know, for example, especially if I see like mums talking about feeling quite anxious after having children, you know, I know for me, like that really kind of taps in, because I'm like, God, I really felt like that. And actually they're the posts that I'm going to kind of scroll a bit more. And actually kind of, it makes people kind of realize again that actually they're not by themselves, and they start to feel part of something. And that's what we're all about, isn't it? We're all about being part of a community, and the community is what we know makes the magic of this, as well as having the ease of the workouts and the support. That's what people start to feel from your feed and your stories if you start doing that. And then obviously on relevant posts, don't forget to kind of invite to the opportunities. So every kind of 9 tiles, you should possibly be inviting to the coaching opportunity or the beach body, you know, or the fitness, or possibly talking about a product, whether that's kind of Shakeology or Energize, but inviting to something so that people kind of know what's on offer and that you are offering something. And then they do say kind of recommended every day within your, if we go to stories, as well as showing all your general stuff that you're showing in the bits we talked about, ideally, they do say that we should do kind of every, you know, and I know this is something that I definitely don't do, but they were saying if you could do it every day, or if not, try to aim for 3 or 4 times a week, where you start to talk like a bit briefly about a problem you had. So coming back to your island A, island B, what did you do to get there? And they say kind of make sure that within that, when you're talking on your stories, do make sure you come back to your feeling. How did you feel? So again, you know, I don't know, it could be for me feeling stuck with my nutrition, that I always thought that I was eating quite healthy and actually it just wasn't hitting the point. And then I kind of was getting a bit frustrated because I wasn't getting to my goals and I was feeling disappointed in myself. And then I found that there was this simple basic container program which laid it all out for me, realized that I was kind of actually eating less than what I should be. And for just having this simple container system, I've been able to up my intake, eat the right balanced foods, and now I'm hitting my goals more consistently. So something just brief. So they do say you should keep it to 3 to 6 clips, ideally, over your stories, because otherwise people start to switch off. And when you're doing it, make sure that you're like summing up what you're saying over your stories in writing as well, because a lot of people listen to your story, well, don't listen to your stories, but they watch it on silence. But that's something that they say, if you can try to aim to do it 3 to 4 times a week or daily, then try to get that in there. And again, you know, end it with some sort of invite, whether it's an interaction or question or something like that. And again, yeah, just remember to be kind of inviting. And it is this bit that you'll hear lots of videos and talks around building your brands, but you are your brand. And this is what is going to make you a brand. And this is what's going to make you kind of get your tribe, get your coaches, get people to come to you. So, you know, a brand isn't necessarily anything big and fancy or anything like that. It's all about kind of you and what your life is like, and these fears, these struggles, these hopes and these interests. So the more you're getting that out there, the more you're kind of building your brand and attracting the people that are going to come. But you just need to keep staying consistent with it, and just be consistent, keep posting, keep showing your stories and building on what just keep building on what you're doing. And the more you start to try and construct these things, the easier this is going to become. And also just, I guess, coming back to kind of when you think about who you are, that's also going to change as well. And if your life starts to change, then you might start not connecting with the right people. So I know for me, you know, I had that big change of even going into school. So that again was something different for me to be like, this is a big change in my life. I need to start thinking again now, what are my new struggles? What are my, what's my new goals? How do I get there? How's this helped? And as seasons of your life keep changing, do kind of come back to this and rewrite these things, because then if you do, your stories and your posts are going to start changing, and you're going to start speaking directly to the people who you can relate to in that season at that time. So yeah, I think that kind of sums it all up. Sorry, I've whizzed through all of that, guys.
No, that's awesome. I mean, I think it's a really, really helpful, get my words out, a really helpful reminder, because I think sometimes we just get into a bit of a rigmarole of just going through the motions, and sometimes not connecting and telling that story, and just kind of it gets a little bit lost. So having that as a reminder, and these are really, really wonderful tips, because like I must admit, I haven't done the problem solution outcome for weeks. I was just like, good reminder. So I've written it on a bit of paper, and it is now stuck on my notice board.
Yeah,
it's things like that sometimes it's just so difficult to keep it in your head. But I also really think it's important what you said, Charlie, about, your seasons of life are always changing. We all think we're boring. I was exactly the same. I was like, I can't coach. No one's going to relate to me. I'm just the same as everyone else. I don't do anything. I'm on maternity leave. I'm just boring as sin. but you're right, that's what makes you relatable. I don't relate to people like some of the big coaches, because their life is so far away from mine. So I think that that's it, and people want to join people that are like them, that are just normal, that and I think that there is a power in that. So, you know, I think it's and it's okay if that changes over time. You know, the person that I'm looking for now is different than the person I was looking for 2 years ago that I want to help. I want to help as many people as possible, but I have a niche of who I want to help, and the more niche you can get, the more you will connect with those people, and the more that you will build that sense of community. And that's what I really craved as well, was building a community with people that were similar to me.
And that's it, because people won't join you if you don't feel, if, like you say, like when they feel too far away from you, people aren't going to kind of connect with that conversation or your posts or what you're showing. And actually this is where kind of, especially Instagram's moved away a lot now from things being pristine and perfect and everything like that, because actually the amount of people that are like that, you know, it's not the case. So actually when you are struggling and things, do show that, and just be you in your everyday, you know, just like turning up it when you're doing your workouts in your pajamas, or, you know, just those types of things. But that's it, you know, because people will kind of be like, God, wow, that, you know, they're able to do that around all the other bits that they're doing. And that's, you know, and that's exactly, if you think about how we connected, all of us got connected with each other, you know, like that's what it was. You know, Hannah was seeing you on, I think, probably a breastfeeding forum, and I was like, oh, you're a mum that's breastfeeding, you're managing to exercise, you've got a new baby, how the hell do you do all of that? And it is that, you know, whereas if you'd have been posting this big shiny thing that I'd have just scrolled past. So it's being you is what is unique, and people are interested in that, even if we don't think it is. That's exactly what people are looking for.
Absolutely. And the other thing as well that I would say is getting inspiration, because sometimes I struggle and I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to post? So there's two things. I've got two tips. One of which is I use this tracker, as well as, so we've got the daily tracker. I like this one, and the reason why I like this one is that it says to me, what is my social media post going to be for the day? So coaching, fitness, family, invite, lifestyle, story, community. There's 7 different things there. It doesn't have necessarily add value, so I do added value ones as well, and you can change it. But finding people and finding things that you find valuable, and then sharing that and gaining inspiration for that. So that might be, so for example, I really love Gary Vaynerchuk, because he shares, you know, all the stuff that he shares about social media and developing as a business person and all of that sort of stuff. He does all of that shit for free. Like, he's doing it because it's adding value, and people, when you add value to them, that creates a sense of, oh, that's why we're here, isn't it? We want to help other people, whether they decide to join or not. I want my followers to see that I am trying to add value to them, and that's what it is, isn't it? It's about improving people's lives, regardless of whether they're in the community yet. So I think that that's really important. And actually, that's one of the things that I've loved so much about connecting with people.
And it is, and actually sometimes just that biggest thing of sometimes actually just the general posts, and remembering just to have your general posts of what people are going to kind of really connect with. Like, I think I'd put one up the other day around my change of kind of what I, you know, that I used to like savoury stuff. Now I love chocolate. I hate sleeping on my back, and now I can't stop it. And the amount of people that actually commented on that post, and then, or I had like people message me just saying, oh, I've had these changes. And actually it's really just sparking conversations, you know, and they might not be people that are challengers now, but it's sparking conversations and people are relating to those things. So it's really important just to kind of think, actually, you don't always have to be getting the business, even as long as you're inviting somewhere in your stories or on your posts or in your general conversations each day. You don't have to be always talking about the business or writing about the business, because, you know, all those bits of day-to-day life is what people are going to do. And like you said, Hannah, it is adding that value as well of, yeah, if I've taken that away from this book or this podcast, someone else will take something away from it. And I think you never know, like, you know, like some of the bigger coaches that have been doing this for years will say, somebody followed me for like 6 years and then all of a sudden they're like, God, now I'm ready to join you. You've added so much over the last few years. You know, and I know that I still get people saying to me that aren't wanting to join, but they will just say, I'll have messages saying, oh, I still love all your posts and I really take things away from them. I'm like, thank you very much, but come and join. I know that's on the side. Obviously, I don't say that, but in my head, I'm like, well, come and join. But you know.
And I think that's it, because like I shared, like I put on my Instagram TV, because I honestly I love this community so much. I think everyone should be a part of it, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, well, just sign up for the free trial, come and see what the community's about, because
exactly, it's a free trial.
I know,
it's free.
Yes.
What have you got to lose? Nothing.
But that's it. And
I'm so scared of jumping into the unknown. Honestly, like I've had a couple of ladies this week, absolutely, they're like, oh no, I just don't know how I can work out in the morning.
But exactly, but
do it in the day.
But again, these are the complete things though, aren't they? Like if you go back and you think about kind of building your brand and building your stories, you've already got like 2 stories there around kind of like, when do you fit the workouts in? Actually, the fear of actually signing up to something that's free, you know, you can talk about those things and you can be thinking about, God, you know what, I thought exactly the same. I was well, I think I did to you, Hannah, wasn't I? I was like, I was skeptical. I'm like, what is this like mumbo jumbo type stuff? What am I doing here? And then you were like, and it was that bit of like, I felt skeptical, I felt unsure, but actually I know I needed to change from where I was. So actually it was taking the risk of finding something that I could sign up for free, there wasn't then a commitment, and actually I could just see how it worked for me. And there you go, you're already constructing it. But I think always make sure that you do come back to like that feeling and everything like that, you know.
Taking a picture, keep talking.
Oh, sorry. I
got distracted by the picture.
I wasn't even paying attention. I'm too busy staring at the toys behind the phone. And for me, I didn't want to do it either. Don't forget, because I was like, no, I'm going to go back to the gym. I'm going to be a gym buddy again.
Yeah, but that's it. But then again, it's talking about, but always just the most powerful thing is coming back to an emotion though, because that is what people are going to connect to. They won't just connect to, I couldn't do my workout and then I found home workouts. They will connect to your feeling though, because there will be people out there that are following you and watching you that feel exactly the same way, and that's where you get your connection and that kind of raw connection with somebody, because they can go, God, because you know, there's so many different reasons why, you know, all of us want to change our health, and it's once you talk about why you were stuck and that feeling about being stuck and the feeling around what changed, they'll go, God, you know, I actually don't want to feel, I don't want to feel anxious in my own skin anymore. I want to feel more confident. I want to have more self-belief. And that's what they'll connect with, rather than just, you know, I want to feel more healthy. It's that emotion. So it's always kind of digging deep and sharing that with people.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I'll put it in there. I'll figure out putting my PDF in the coaches page.
That's awesome. And any questions at all, Kim?
I always have loads of questions, Hannah. I'm like a questionaholic. But I don't at this current moment in time. Cool. I say that and I'm like, yeah, but what about this? And what about this? And what about this? But no, I don't have any questions. I just worry about becoming too vulnerable. Like I know in my Instagram posts, I've got a vulnerable post after second child. And I know I've got one for after second child, but I'm not ready to become that vulnerable yet.
But that's okay as well though, isn't it? You have to share, like I said, you've got to be vulnerable as far as you're happy to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And also
absolutely.
And also sharing stories, you don't have to share the whole of a story. There might be parts of different bits of stories that you think, I'm okay to share that little bit of that story, and that's okay as well, because each story that we have could a lot of time be broken down into many little stories, and you can think about the little bits that you are okay to share, and actually the bits that you aren't, the bits you don't want to share, that's okay too.
I think
So-
that's it. And the other thing that I wanted to say about that is it's okay to repeat. Right, we've got less than a minute. It's okay to repeat stories. So that's one of the things I was like, oh, I've shared that before, I can't share that again. But you probably shared it 20 tiles ago, 20 days
Yes.
ago. If you could do a tile a day, 20 days ago is a long time. You've got new followers. People don't necessarily remember things. People scroll. I'm not necessarily saying using exactly the same visual, but if you wanted to talk about the same,
But you know, actually sometimes
fix.
But actually, sometimes I've spotted that some of the people that have got some of the bigger accounts, they will use the same visual. Like you'll find like probably about like 30 tiles down, there's the same visual, and they've slightly used the same story as well. And they do say that, you know, do kind of regurgitate a post that was a real winner and a real hit. Think about why was that a hit and reuse it, even if it's slightly in different wording, just use it again. But that's why it's about thinking that every 9 tiles, and they can kind of repeat themselves and kind of have the same story, because if that was a hit, then it's going to be a hit again. So yeah,
that's a really good idea, and it's a really good point actually, because we often forget. Anyway, this is going to cut out. It was so lovely to see you both. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much, Charlie.
That's okay.
Really,
Sorry, it was a quick stop.
Stuff in there and reminders. I really appreciate it. I will make sure I record this. I'll post the recording, and then please do attach the PDF into the file section.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, have great evenings, ladies.
See you later.